We got a few more people in here. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you do want to come on in, remember, all you have to do is press *5, and it'll bring you right into the room. With that being said, my name is Christina Jean-Philippe. That's my husband's last name, but you guys can just call me Chris, our sister Chris. I pretty much like being called that. It's simple. It's easy. Thank you guys so much for coming and joining me. You guys don't know how much this means to me. I put a lot of time into this, and I'm hoping and praying that all of us can leave with something so that we can try somehow to help our children, help our babies out there. And I believe it starts with us. We gotta do better, and then in return, I believe that they will do better. So you guys know the title of the room. Are children being raised in a single-parent household a disadvantage? Since I have you on the line, sister, why don't you just give us a quick answer? First, introduce yourself, and then, of course, give us a quick answer. So what do you think so and why?
Okay, yeah, my name is Kimberly, everybody. Hello. I'm in the ABT University with Sister Chris. The answer that I have for that is, you said early at a disadvantage, right?
Are they at a disadvantage? And if they are, what are some of the things you think is a disadvantage for them if you think it is, or if you don't think it is, whatever you think. Do you think they're at a disadvantage if they have two parents or one parent?
Well, not necessarily. I think that it depends on the dynamics of the family, their extended family. Like, do they have a lot of uncles in there? Or they have, good parent figures, both male and female as well. It can be very hard for a single mother, but hopefully she is blessed to have that extra support. But if she doesn't have that support, we probably need to have in our community more programs that can foster that support,
Good points. I like
you know what I'm saying? So my vision I always have for children is I have because my mother put me through, what do you call it? Charm school, I call it. I had to learn manners, and I had to learn how to sit. Because she always would hit, I would have my legs open, and she would say, "No, put your legs to the side." Those are the kind of things I always like to teach children. And when I was in high school, we had home economics, and now these kids don't have any kind of.
They don't even have that no more.
Home art. They don't have it anymore. And I think that I don't know if you notice, when it comes to a religious sense, or a lot of people who are from a different race, like Chinese, Japanese, even Israel, people in Israel, like the Jewish. I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood, and they always went to all my Hebrew friends, so-called Hebrew friends or Jewish friends, went to Hebrew school. And so they went to school after they got out. They went to school to learn about their language, their culture, everything. We don't have that as African Americans. Don't have that. I don't think even Latino have that, or maybe they do. I don't know, but we don't have that enough in our community where we can have that extra school time or extra curriculum time. Because they took away all the basic stuff that people should learn, how to cook and clean, and how to balance a checkbook, how to do household things, and that's what we're missing. I think those kind of things in the community, and I think those things will help as well. So,
yes, I like what you're saying a lot. You know why? Because the part that you're bringing up is the other side of the coin. Because the way I was planning on starting this conversation off, and I'm glad that you brought this up, I was planning to start the conversation off to say, okay, look, statistics don't lie. Now, I know they like to play with them sometimes and move numbers around. I get that. Yes, this is true. But there is some truth to them. It has to be. And even if you don't believe statistics, look around. Look around at a lot of people around you and look at the stories that you hear, and you can usually line it back up to what the statistics are saying. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. So once we identify what these issues are, now we know, okay, so women are being able to, they don't know how to cook. They don't know how to clean.
No.
They don't even know how to be a wife, let alone if they're even going to be a wife. They even know how to be a wife. They even know how to be a woman. You know how to clean yourself properly. Some girls don't even know how to clean themselves. All these things are not being taught to them. So my idea was that you may not have that mom or you may not have that dad, but I know we got uncles. I know we got aunties.
Yeah, we got uncles.
I know we got godmamas.
Yep.
I know we got friends. I know we have these people around us. Let's not play dumb and act like we don't. Like, I know people that are single parents. I was once a single parent before I got married. I had children before I was with my husband. I was a single parent, and I had 6 brothers. So if I didn't have a father, which was not there for my kids until my husband married me, guess what? I have 6 brothers. What was their excuse?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that they have to pick up. I'm not saying that I make a dumb decision, therefore the men are supposed to just come in but at the end of the day, though I may have made a mistake and made decisions that I should not have made, fornicating, not being married, procreating, not making the business decisions that I should. Not that that's everyone's case, but in my case it was. Why then just allow the child to grow up with none of that structure? I have boys. Why would you not give them that? You're their uncle. You're there anyway. You come around for something to eat. You come around doing, you hungry. You want to borrow a couple of dollars, you show your face, whatever. You're around. Why not start implementing some of the things that, since his father's not there, we can do it. Same thing with women, like you said, cooking, cleaning, taking care of your own hygiene, things of that nature. So you brought up some really, really, really good points. So yeah, I enjoy that. So you're like a solution kind of person. That's how I'm thinking your brain works. You're like, okay, yes, this is a problem, but what are we gonna do to fix it?
I think so. I think that's what that's my stance with it. Like I had said before in our class, I had, I don't have children myself, but I do have a lot. I'm a godmother all the time. I have a lot of kids around me, and I'm seeing them grown up, and it's not like I don't know, you don't, people, I always have a fear, like, people will say, you don't have kids, you don't understand. And I know it's hard being, I've seen my friends go through it. I've seen my cousins go through it, the struggle of, especially you have more than one kid trying to struggle with school, and school gives you a lot of hell, and, things you have to do, and it's like interfering with your life, and it's like, okay, you got to make sure this child's in school. And that basically is a farce because it's all about money, because they do have to have money to run the schools, and the children have to be in there in order for them to get money from the state. So,
you know how to.
So they got to, so getting to school can be hell. So you have more than one child, they might go one school across town, and you got to go over to another one. So you could be spread out.
Got one in middle school, one in elementary. That's me, because I have 7 kids.
Exactly.
And I have that now. Yes, I homeschool my kids now for the past few years, but before that, I had kids in elementary, I had kids in middle school, and I had kids in high school. And it was a 3-way commute. And some of the high schools would start at like 6:50, like that's what time my son's school starts, 6:50. Middle school don't start to 8:30. Elementary start at 7. So I'm basically spending almost 3 hours just to do a 3-stop commute, like here, here, and here. Like, so I understand. And imagine if I wasn't married. And like,
I know. Imagine if you had and work too.
I
work
was
full
working
time.
but thank God he was able to. I didn't work full time. Thank God for that. I worked part time. But you're right. Imagine if I worked full time. And that's another thing I want to point out. Okay, so I have a friend that does that. She's a single parent. Thank God she only got 1 kid. She is a divorcee. She works 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. I think she works 7 a.m. to like 5 p.m. And her son goes to school like 6:30. And I don't think she picked them up to about 5:30, maybe 6. So this is my thing. If you're dropping your kid off, and this is no shade at her at all, I love her to death, and she's doing what a lot of women have to do. But if you're dropping your kid off at 6:30, 6:45, you're not picking your kid up to almost 6 o'clock. If he's going to bed 9, 10 o'clock, the majority of the time spent was where? Not with you. Where was the time to guide him? Now, yes, you're still going to be, giving your input. No, don't worry. You're here and there. But let's be honest. Basically, from 6 to 9, because he got to bathe and he got to eat. So you got 3 hours you're going to spend 5 days a week? And that's if you're spending the 3 hours. What if you come home and you're tired and you're hungry, you just want to go lay down and look at a movie? So what's really going on? You see what I'm saying? So that's how things fall through the crack as well. But a lot of people have to do it. How do you take care of yourself? Especially where I live. I live in South Florida. Them bills ain't no joke.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
Very expensive to live down here. Like, very expensive. Just to get a 2-bedroom, you're looking at over $1,800 to $2,000 for a 2-bedroom. We're talking apartment. We're not even talking a house.
Yeah, it's worse here in LA. It's $3,000.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, LA is worse.
If you don't have
I think the highest rate in homeless, don't they? In homelessness, are they like the highest?
Yeah, I think all of California is just crazy. I mean, even San Francisco up north is pretty bad. So, and it's worse than here, than LA. So it's crazy. Yeah, San Francisco is, I think, the worst out of all the state of California. So,
so just imagine single parents. So that's goes to the disadvantage. What we're talking about today. So if we just broke down, did we not? The time of day between you sleeping, going to work, your commute, dinner, and bath, you left with a good maybe 2-3 hours to actually dedicate to conversation, raising, or anything with your kids. And that's a person that works an 8-hour shift, 8 to 10 hours shift, and that don't have a long commute. Because all of it, I mean, when you look at it all, so then you got to ask yourself, I can see how a single parent that doesn't have what you said. Remember what your position was. If they have that family foundation where they have the grandma, they got the grandpa, they got the aunties, the uncles, the friends. If they have that, then I could see what you're saying. Like, okay, yeah, they should be okay because they're still getting that. But believe it or not, it's a lot of people that don't have that. A lot of people. Either their family lives far away, they don't live in the same state, or it's all types of different reasons why. Or maybe their family just not close like that. There's a lot of people that don't have that. So could you see now how if a kid was in a home with a single mom or single dad, between the commute, the work, the school, what's going on with that kid? Is that kid looking at things they shouldn't? Is that kid have a friend at school that's not a good example? Is that kid getting the proper education they need? Is the kid depressed? Because kids have feelings. For some reason, some adults don't think they have feelings. They think that they're just kids and they don't feel.
They don't understand anything. Like, you can start talking to your baby in your womb,
Exactly.
You can start directing their path from there. And a lot of them, they don't even speak to their children in discipline, and they think discipline is whipping them, or no, it's just giving them boundaries. You got to set boundaries for them, and let them know why. Why are you setting these boundaries for this and that reason. Sometimes you have to repeat over with some kids so they can get kind of hard.
Oh, no, you do.
Girl,
you got it. Yeah, you got it, girl. You got it. Yes, girl. You got to repeat. I think I'm going to get a recorder so I can just press the button. So I don't have to keep using my voice box, okay? I need my voice box, okay? I need it, okay, girl, because I have to do that constantly. But you're right. I think it goes back to where it says raise a child in the way that they should go and not will not believe them nor hurt them. It's like if you are setting those foundational tools when they're young, then it's a lot of things that just won't happen, right? Of course, they're not going to be a perfect kid. They're going to still, they're kids. No. It's like, come on, we were all kids.
Exactly.
Right? You're going to do certain things. You're going to say it's life, right? But if you kind of set that, and I didn't realize that. You said something earlier. You said that because you don't have children, I don't know if I'm wrong, correct me. I think you said people you hear, or you said that you're afraid someone may say, well, you don't have no kids, so you don't know. I think that's what you said, right?
Yeah, that's what,
something to that effect, right?
So that's something to that effect, but I don't know. I just feel in my heart that I do know, but
you do know. No, you do know. And I used to think the same way. Remember, I told you I was a single parent. I was a single parent before me and my husband got together. My husband had no children when me and him got married. And he had things to say, girl. He's that type of man, girl. He had things to say, okay? He was setting the rules. And I used to look at him like, first of all, you don't got no kids. What experience do you have? Coming in here to talk about this, that. Now, I never said it. I never expressed it. But I kind of showed him with, making a face or, not doing it in the beginning of our marriage, not doing it when he said or how he said, kind of bending the rules a little bit. I didn't feel like he knew what he was talking about. It wasn't until I started seeing the fruit of his labor, when I started seeing the change from how my kids was before I got married and now, because he brought things to the table that I had not recognized. Because sometimes as parents, when we see our children, it's some parents, it's hard for us to see the worst in them, or not even the worst, to see their flaws. It's hard to do that. We don't want to see negative for our kids. Sometimes we make excuses. Oh, no, they're fine. They're just boys. Or, oh, no, she don't understand. We try to make excuses for them sometimes, which I understand to an extent. You know, kids are kids. They need to learn. But sometimes if you see a child that's constantly lying, even if it's something small, you as a parent have to recognize, okay, my kid has been lying quite a bit. I think my child has an issue with lying. Now, I don't know why they're lying like this. Do they feel like lying gets them what they want? Have they seen other people lying and now they're copying? Like, you know, you want to better understand it, and then you got to address it. You got to go in and take care of it. But some parents, they don't do that. It's like they want to see their child as innocent, good. They're not going to do nothing bad, and then they let the kid just go out into the world. And then this is where you see children, you know, getting knocked upside the head and other things like that, because in their own home, they weren't being disciplined. Maybe they got beat and smacked, like you said, but that's not, you can beat a kid all day, but is that necessarily discipline? Especially if they don't know why they're getting whooped? Like, cause
exactly, you gotta tell them why.
Yeah, some kids, you could, like my daughter Naraya, let me tell you something, she don't need a whooping. You even look like you're going to say a word that starts with a woo, or you could say warning, but she thought you was going to say whooping. Like her whole life changed. Like, I'm done. I will do everything I'm meant to do. And she just changes. Like, that's all she needs. So some kids, just take something from them, or lecture them, or sit them down, or put them on time out. There's a lot of different routes you can go with disciplining. But back to what the point of the conversation is, that disadvantage that they're having. If we're looking at it how we said, where you're at in LA, cost of living is extremely high, ridiculously high. Imagine a parent, multiple kids, single, got to go this way, got all these bills. What time do they really have with this child? Let's keep it real, let's be honest. And if they don't have those things you said, the uncle, the aunties, the grandma, they don't have that. Who's raising his kids? Which means the things that we're about to get into and talk about, I can see why these things, the numbers are so high. So one of the things I want to point out, the suicide rate.
Yeah.
When you look at children that are committing suicide, it's the USA Single Parent Household.gov. I guess it's a foundation, a nonprofit foundation. It's national, so it's supposed to be everywhere. And I guess they help parents that are dealing with children that have committed suicide or that have suicidal thoughts. And they're saying that children that come from a single-parent household, it says that there is a 75% chance, although 75% of the children that have committed suicide, not a chance, but that have committed suicide, 75% of them come from a single-parent household.
Oh, wow.
That are the kids that are killing themselves. This is according to them. Now, let's just say the numbers are off. Let's just say it's off. 75 is kind of high. Let's just say it's 60. Still. That's still really high. That this amount of kids that are coming, and it makes sense. Think about it. If I'm a child and I'm suffering, and I'm barely, my mom not noticing. Why she not noticing? My dad not noticing. Why? They got too much going on. They got to work. They got to cook, clean. They got to commute. It's a lot. And don't let, what are their personal life? If the kids have some kind of personal life, they're not even noticing that their kid is cutting themselves. They don't notice that their kid just likes somebody in the classroom and found out that their best friend likes them too. They just kind of act it out on the date. And that may seem trivial to us, right? But let's be honest. Have we never been in love or felt lust with someone? And imagine a child. You're really liking this person. I remember my daughter crying, tears, boogers coming out because her crush liked somebody else. This girl was so emotional. And of course, in my head, I'm like, girl, you don't even remember me. You're in the second grade. Like, what are you talking about? But I couldn't say that because they're human too. They have feelings. They have emotions. They get depressed. They get sad. They get lonely. So as parents, we have to try to step in, like you said, auntie, or the grandma, grandpa, whoever. You don't have kids, but you say you got a lot of, you got a lot of nieces, nephews, you got a lot of, and you invest your time into them. More people need to be like you because this number is extremely high. This is true.
Yeah, it is. Does it break it down by race as well, or is it just every race?
No, all it says is according to the Single Parents and Sex Foundation, national nonprofit. Okay, educational opportunity for single parents, nationwide, individuals for single parent families, 75% of the children, dependent hospitals from single parent suicidal. Okay, it does say attempts, so maybe they didn't succeed. So I guess it might be layering people that thought about it, people that, so maybe that's why the number is so high. Because, like when a kid says, I think I want to kill myself, sometimes they put them into hospitals and stuff. So that's what it looks like it's saying. So necessarily they didn't kill themselves, but that's still a high number. That's telling you that these kids are suffering and going through something, and they probably feel like nobody loves me, nobody cares. And it's not that people don't care. It's just that it's so much going on in the world. Another statistic is a national survey of nearly 1,000 parents found that 7.4% of children who live with one parent have been sexually abused compared to only 4.2% of children who live with both biological parents. This is from this is their website, childwelfare.gov. So it's a childwelfare.gov website that says that they took 1,000 parents. So I guess this was a small survey they did. 1,000 parents, and 7.4 of the kids have been sexually abused compared to 7.2%. And that, again, I can see that's somewhat happening because think about it. If you are working, bills are high, you got to drop them to uncle's house. You got to drop them to cousin's house. Your boyfriend going to wash them for you, or you leave them home alone and the neighbor going to. I can see because if you have two parents, or you have a grandma or someone, like you said, that's investing in his child, they can help watch the kids, make sure the kid's okay. I took my kids to the park today. I seen two young boys from, I want to say, the age of 12 to probably 9. And I don't see no parents. And they're playing with my kids. But, I kind of inquired and I said, oh, you guys come out here every weekend? And then he was like, well, my mom doesn't work in the morning. That's why we come in the morning, because she's at work. So what did he just tell me?
They don't have a lot of time. They spend with her.
And there you go. So while mama's at work, these two little boys are at the park by themselves.
Right, by themselves. That's not cool.
It's not cool.
Yeah.
It's not. God forbid anything can happen. You see why this could be higher? And again, I'm not saying two parents automatically all the problems go away, but let's be honest. If you have more help, you can't tell me that that's not going to be a benefit for the child. It's going to be a benefit because guess what? If mama work in the morning, maybe daddy work in the afternoon, they won't be at that park right now by themselves. Or maybe she had a grandma, auntie, or uncle that could watch the kids, they won't be at the park right now by themselves. And anything can happen to them. Then I got another one.
Wow.
This is from Family Structure of Children Education. Their website is managpedia.org. I've never heard of that. They did a survey, and it says 85% of children, biological families, graduate. Okay, so it says children that are in a two-parent household, they have an 85% chance of graduating high school. But kids that come from a single-parent household, only 67% of them have a chance of graduating high school. If they have a stepfather, then they have a 65% chance of graduating high school, which is kind of weird. Why is the stepfather? That's weird. Yeah, I wish, you know what I wish I should have done? I just clicked on the articles top of it. I wish I would have broke down some of these surveys. So for our next meeting, if you guys come, whatever, statistics we're looking, I want to look at how they do some of these. Like you said, what are they doing it by race? Are they doing it by age? Maybe like, how are they breaking it down? But I've heard this before. I don't know if you heard this before. Even when I went to school, I heard that, children that come from single parent households, a lot of them don't graduate from high school. The chances of them graduating is lower than children that come from a two-parent household. I think that has to do with a lot of factors. Financial sometimes. It could be just staying on the kid, making sure the kid is, doing what they're supposed to do. But sometimes you're so busy, back to what we were talking about, how do you have time to really invest and make sure, okay, is this kid keeping up on their work? Are they doing what they're supposed to do so that they can graduate on time and things of that nature? Then we have we're going to get into one more, and this one right here, this one really hurt my heart when I looked at this. This is YoungWarrior.gov, and they did a survey based off of prisoners. And this one is what really hurt my heart. 75% of long-term incarcerated facility inmates are from a father-absent household. Father-absent house. 75% of long-term inmates. Talking long-term, 10, 15, 20 years. That's what they're looking at, from like 10 to 20. 75% of them come from a no father in the house. No father in the house. So what do you think of that? 75% of long-term.
That's pretty high.
That is
high.
They don't have their daddy.
No daddies whatsoever.
That's high. Oh my goodness. That one really hurt my heart. What do you think of that? If that statistic is true.
Yeah, I believe it's true. I mean, on my instance, my middle brother, he was incarcerated, but he come from two-family household. But my dad is a very sweet man. It could be on the parenting style too that they end up in there as well. My dad, it was kind of hard to really discipline him, my brother. So he would he actually called in his brother-in-law to help. So I remember that.
Take care of it? For real?
Yeah. Because my uncle was very, very, very tough. He was a tough guy. So he said,
so he had to bring in the big guns.
He had to bring in the guns one time, and I was like maybe 3 or 4. I remember this. He locked himself in the bathroom. My uncle had to come over there and get him out of there. Like,
oh my goodness.
So it's just sometimes you have a strong-willed child, and if you don't have that personality to deal with it.
Girl, I have one of those. I got one. I got one. Okay, and nothing. You could whoop her, you could punish her, you could take everything. It don't matter. She gonna do what she want to do. Period. Point blank. It doesn't matter. She has been like that since she was in my stomach. Like, I remember being pregnant with her, and she would kick me, and I would hit her back. Say, "Don't be kicking me so hard," and she would kick me 5 more times. Like, don't play with me. I kick when I want to kick. Like, you cannot tell me. I remember she was stubborn. She didn't even want to come out. She still like that. Almost 21 years old, and she is still just as stubborn as she was when the day she came out. But I think parenting style is important too, and it goes back to the study that you plan on doing about. Remember when you were saying about like discipline, like whoop whoop whoop, but are you talking to the kid? Are you trying to figure out
explain why?
Try and get in their mind, like, okay, you really thought that this was the best route to take in a situation like this? Did you think that? See, parenting style, I can say, yes, I agree with that, because I had a father and a mother coming up. But if my brother was on here right now, he'll tell you it was as if he didn't have a father. Because my dad said a lot of stuff, but he didn't invest in the things. Like, he told us little things like, never go anywhere by yourself. When you walk home at night, never walk the same route if you're taking the bus. Like, he just give us a lot of little things like that. And
little
it was
wisdom.
all nice and dandy, but he wasn't hands-on. Like, he didn't teach us about hygiene or teach a man how to, dress, or how to take care of himself, or how to talk to girls, or how to be confident, or how, to control his anger,
Yeah.
because testosterone is serious. And when you're a young man full of testosterone and then you have hormones and stuff, he didn't teach these types of things. So my brother had to go out into the world and look what other older men were doing and kind of mimic it. But he had a dad that was in the house. So yes, I would agree with what you said.
Same thing, my
style,
brother.
Yeah.
That's the same
exactly.
thing. I don't know what the remedy could be for the single mom. Again, it depends. It depends on her situation and her health that she has. I don't know how to, what can you do about the single mom?
I want to point out two things. I want to talk about prevention, what we can do to stop it from this happening. And if it's already happened, what can we do to help the situation, to help our babies, right? So that was the point of this conference today, was what can we do to help our babies? Like, what can we do? And we can start bouncing some ideas off the top of our head. First, what we can do, like now, we know people, all of us, I know people that have children. And because I'm all wrapped up in my own little world, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't take the time out that I should and invest in my nieces and nephews that I should. I don't.
Yeah.
And I decided to start with me. Just like Michael Jackson said, it's the man in the mirror. I decided to start with me. And if we all start with us, and we look in that mirror and say, okay, what can you dedicate to at least once a week? If you can't do once a week, what can I do every other week to dedicate? Even if it's a call. Even if you say, okay, every Wednesday or every Thursday, whatever, I'm going to call this friend, this cousin, this sister, whoever, and I'm going to check on their kids and see how they're doing. I'm going to stop by at least once a month. What can we do to try and reach our children? Like right now, every Saturday at 2 o'clock, we have a study that we do, and the majority of the people on the line are all young teenagers. That's on my line right now. Young teenagers.
Oh, good.
From ages like 14 to 17. And then I have a few adults. But a lot of them are teenagers. And I have their phone numbers. And I can tell you, I've had personal conversations with these children already. And I know they're not telling these things to their parents, the things that they're telling me. And I pray to God and ask Him to give me the words and the guidance and what to do. So I say, start with us. We, as the adults, need to do better for our children because they're our future. We get upset when we hear about kids being more violent. Oh, when I was growing up, they weren't like this. These kids these days with this TikToking and this, that, and the music. Oh, we say these things, but we're the ones that raising them. They're our product. They're literally our product. My daughter's going to be 21. So the kids that you see out there in their 20s and their late teens and early 20s, that's my product. People of my age, this is our product. So how can we get upset and say, oh, I wasn't like that, this, that. Oh, my mama would have never. We say all these things, but this is what we did. We can't put this all on them. Now, at some point, of course, they have to answer to what they're doing. Like my daughter's going to be 21. She can't keep saying, well, mama this, mama that. At some point, you're going to have to look at yourself and say, okay, I got to start making better choices. I can't keep blaming my mama. But at the same time, we can't be blind to it and put this on one person. So I say, look in the mirror. Be more like you, where you said, I have nieces and I have these people, and I try to. That's what we need to do. I think that would be a big help for our children. Them little girls out there with no daddy, where's the uncle?
Yeah.
Where's the uncle? Where's he at?
Where are
they?
Yeah.
They there, girl. They there. They're there.
And hopefully they have a good reputation.
Well, yeah, of course. The one we know which ones have. We know some of them are hot.
We know which one.
We know some of them that are good examples. I know a sister, and she has multiple brothers. And one of her brothers, he's a little hothead, but the other one is a very upstanding, hardworking, level-headed guy, God-fearing man. He got a whole bunch of nieces and nephews. Now, another thing as a parent standpoint, because I'm a parent, we can't be so sensitive that we can't take correction. We got to stop being so sensitive. People try to give us advice as parents, like, hey, Christina, so I don't think, and then we get sensitive. Like, that's my kid. You don't know what you talking about. We got to stop that. We got to stop being so sensitive to where we can't take correction. Because it's not about us.
That's true.
That kid is going to be in the world, and they're going to have to deal with them, too. They're going to be on the road. They're going to be in the job. They're going to be out there in that world. So if you don't mess up this whole raising situation, we got to deal with them. That's what people don't understand. This whole idea that ain't my problem, ain't my. When they used to say, who was that saying? It takes a village to raise a child.
To raise a child. Mm-hmm.
Girl, I used to do stuff outside. I remember my neighbor would tell me, your daddy. I remember that. And he showed up with my daddy. And he was a bitch. That's how I used to be. Your kid couldn't just run around. Oh, that's Leroy. My dad's name was Leroy. That's Leroy kid over there climbing in them people trees taking their mangoes. That's Leroy, dog. He ain't even that. And they will go and tell my daddy on me. That's how it used to be. Now people close their windows, close their doors, and they act like they don't see nothing. You think it's Jehovah's Witnesses out there. They start closing the shades, everything that I ain't got nothing to do with it. And it is partly our fault as parents. We're not going to put it all on the people. It's us as parents too, because we don't want to take correction. Nobody wants to take correction. And there's nothing wrong. Nope. Correction is good. That means they love you. Yeah. If someone is taking the time to correct you, that means they love you. And this is me, a parent, saying, I'm going to tell you now, I don't like hearing, like one of my kids, he's a little, this boy, he's a little hot-head girl. I got 7 of them. I got all kind of personalities. He's quick to, like his temper is like quick. He's not violent, thank God. Just imagine if that was added to it. But he is quick to like get upset. He can go from 0 to 100 like this. And I didn't notice it at first.
Wow.
Why I didn't notice it again? Sometimes we are blinded by the love of I don't know what it is as parents. We are so blinded by things our children do. I hate that about me sometimes. But I'm learning to be better. And my brother pulled me to the side and said, Christina, he told me all the situations. He pointed out like 3 situations. And he said, look, that's not good. If he becomes a man, he gets older, and he continues to like flip like that, it's going to lead to something. It's not going to be good. So he got to learn how to really control that. So I've been working with him to help him, because that's testosterone is something else, girl. And sometimes they don't know how to express themselves other than yelling or screaming or getting angry. Sometimes they don't know how to express it or to level out their anger. You know what I mean? Some people just don't know. And sometimes it takes practice and control. But that took correction. Yeah. Somebody from outside of my family had to come in, observe, pull me to the side, and say, hey, Christina, let me talk to you real quick. Pull me to the side, away from the kids, so they don't be embarrassed. Hey, I noticed this. It's worth looking into. Not to say everybody's right. Everybody's opinion is not right, but it's worth to look into. It's worth to say, you know what? Does this person have a point of view that I'm not looking at? Should I take that? So that's the first thing I would say we should do. Start with us. What do you think of the step as what we can do now? And then we'll get into the preventive. What can we do to prevent this in the first place? I want to get into that. But for now, what do you think of that concept of trying to help our babies?
Well, for like you want to help in the now, you're saying, right? What can we do?
Yes. What can we do now?
That's a tough one. Again, you have to look at everybody's situation, and from there, start little changes. Man, if they just even, like, I know our lives get really busy. If we were working away from the home, because some people now are working at home, which is good to have just that presence. But sometimes when you work at home, you can't really be in the presence with your kids. You still have to have a caregiver, unfortunately, because you can't be having interruptions. I don't know. I that's a hard one, sis. I don't know. I mean, what do you
That's
think?
why I say start small. That's why I say start small and start with us. What can we do now? You're doing part of it. You say you have nieces and nephews and things like that you take time and you talk to them. And I think that's how we start small. Overall, we do need to work on bringing programs back to our kids. Like you said, we used to have home economics in school, taught us how to cook. I had that in school. They don't even have cursive in school anymore. It's a lot of things that they've taken out of school besides God. They took a lot of things out of school. Things that are vital for us to learn. They don't have that in school no more. So, of course, that's like the really big stuff. But, like, right now, individually, as people, I feel like anyone who's listening to this are going to hear this. It starts with us. Us.
Well,
Like, for
I
real.
think that the
Everything
single
starts with
mom,
us.
yeah, I think with the single mom though, she should start out small. Maybe if she can find something minute that the child can be part of. Like, I know a lot of kids want to do a lot of activities, but and I know with you have a lot of kids. I don't know how they can balance all those activities out that they want to do,
Yeah, it's ridiculous,
and
girl.
plus have the time to live. And then most of the time you're in the institution. So
But
the
thank
kids
God,
are in
that's why
school
I'm blessed
institutions,
though. I don't work.
but you
When
got
I was
homeschool, and
working,
that's a good thing.
yes, I homeschool. Yeah, so we homeschool from we start 9 in the morning, and we're usually done by 1. And then they have their after school program they're a part of. And then we have some that are in boxing, one starting soccer soon. So, and now one wants to start dancing. She wants to start doing dance. So that's going to be a whole situation I got to figure out. But yeah, but again, I don't work. So I have a lot of time that I can invest
Mhm.
in the children. And sometimes it can be overwhelming, girl. I'd be losing my mind sometimes now. Don't get it twisted. It's a
I
lot of
know
work
you
and I don't
do.
even work. Imagine the ones that got to work.
Well, well, let me tell you this. When I growed up my parents both worked. I remember looking back because we couldn't, Monday through Thursday was very, very tight. But when Friday came along, Friday night was our family night, and we went out to dinner. I remember going out to dinner like once a week. And they made that a point to do that, to spend time together.
Yes,
And
that's
maybe that's
important.
one thing that a single mom can do, is spend time.
And they can
One
find
thing is,
catch things. That's smart. They can probably catch
yeah, it's
things, hear things that they weren't noticing throughout the week.
exactly. Another thing, exercise is a good option too. Going for a walk, 30-minute walk with
And
the
that's
kids,
free. And that's free too.
and that's free. Yeah, there's
That's
different
free.
things you can do that you can spend time with your kids. Like if you pick them up, I know you get tired, but maybe go to the park and walk around the park. But I know it's tiring, but sometimes it's
Like
like we
my
have to force
husband,
ourselves to do it.
no, yeah, my husband,
Mhm.
he's a truck driver, so he's not here 3.5 weeks out of the month. He's only home 5 days out of the month. But every Sunday,
Mhm.
he's the one that started this. He started this years ago. He started this, I want to say, yeah, it's been a while since he started, years, at least 5, 6 years, maybe longer, where every Sunday, the whole family, we all got to go to the park. We do different things. We
Yeah.
exercise. We play basketball, play on the swing. A few times we brought the skates. Sometimes we brought the bike. We've done different things. We tried different parks. One time we did a water park. One time we did just a regular park. So we do different types of, but
Mhm.
every Sunday, everybody got to go. Pack everybody up, the dog, the
Yeah.
cat, everybody, we all got to go. And he
You put in your
implemented that.
schedule.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
I have to do it. Even with him not here, I had to do it today. And I was really tired today because I had the exam last night that we were talking about. That took me a few hours. I had my 2 o'clock
Mhm.
Sabbath class I do with them, so that took me time.
Mhm.
Plus we got our oral exam
Mhm.
coming up tomorrow. That took me time. Then I got tonight to prepare for it. That took me time. And then I still got to cook, clean, and
Mhm.
take care of kids, and I have a 3-year-old. So a lot of stuff took me time, and I was really tired. But my husband does not play. Girl, he will call. Are you at the bar? That is very important to him that we take it's very important. So I think that's a really good idea, like you said. It's free. So let's say you
Mhm.
don't got it like that. Even if you pack a couple peanut butter jellies, some sandwiches,
Yeah.
go out there, like you said, exercise, relax. And then that time you're spending, you're able to actually find things out, hear things, enjoy each other. It's a lot of stuff that may have slipped through the cracks throughout the week that you just didn't notice or you didn't just pay attention to because you just got so much going on. So yeah, I think those are good
Mhm.
ideas. Now I want to get into preventive. What you gonna say?
On purpose. No, go ahead. No.
I want to talk about preventive, because we can say okay, this is what we're gonna do, and we need to talk about that because once the kid is here, that's it, and we want to give the kids the best opportunities they can have. But what about preventive measures? And I'm going to use myself as an example. I
Okay.
think that's always the best way to go. So me, I was very young when I was pregnant with my first child. I was only 17 years old. I was extremely young. And I come from a broken family, a poor family, all of those things. And the father basically ran out, and I went and did it again. Got with another guy. He ran out, and I found myself single parent, 2 daddies by myself, I think I was like 22 years old, living alone, working 2 jobs with 2 kids, juggling, catching buses. That's what I was going through. Like, it was pretty tough. It was really hard for a young, woman to have to start off her life that way. But those were my choices. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that, I was just out there just doing my thing. Because, yes, I did make mistakes in that sense. Like, I'm having unprotected sex. I'm having sex, period. Okay? I'm not married. I have no commitment from these guys at all. But I just wanted to be loved so bad. That's what a lot of people don't understand. The way the psyche is for women, especially young girls, when we come from that loveless family, not every female, but speaking of myself, you're so desperate to just be loved, to be wanted, to feel like you have a purpose. You are willing to give a person your purity just to have an idea what it feels like to feel love. Like I tell my husband all the time, if you see their hair change, tell them it's pretty. Oh, you got a new hairstyle? Like, act crazy about it. Like, ooh, girl. Like notice it. Not in my outfit. Tell them try it on. I tell my husband that all the time. And at first he thought I was weird. Like, Christina, why are you making me do? But now he sees their reactions and he understands it. And I told him, I said, trust me, my dad was there, but I didn't feel love. They weren't that type of parents at all. Not to say they didn't love me, but they did not express it at all. I can count on my hands how many times my mom and dad told me they loved me. Seriously. I can literally count it on my hands how many times they said, I love you, Christina. Seriously. So when you don't have that, you're depressed. You feel like you have no one to talk to. You feel worthless. You feel like you have no value. You feel like you have no purpose. So what do? You act accordingly. You act exactly what you have perceived yourself to be, even though you are not that. But because of all your circumstances, this is what you've done. And all I've done was create more burden, more hardship in my life than I already had. So you already come from a broken family. You're already poor. You're already uneducated. Now you got 2 kids to take care of from 2 different fathers, no education, no self-worth, no self-love. What's going to happen with you? It doesn't look good at all. So first, I want our sisters, because it's a big problem. When you look at a lot of the single parents, a lot of these women, the numbers are way higher than the guys. A lot of these women have multiple children by multiple dads. But the men are messing up too. I'm not saying they aren't. But women, you're in control of that womb. You guys are laying down with these men. You're laying down. You're giving them your purity. You have no commitment at all. They have not committed themselves to you. They're not married to you. And you're just giving them your purity like it's nothing. Like this is nothing. Like whatever, just take it. They have got to know their value and their worth. And you cannot just lay down with somebody just to lay down with them. You can't. You're putting so much at risk. When God tells us, don't commit fornication, adultery, all those things, when he talks about that, look at the product of fornication. We got sexually transmitted disease running rampant. AIDS, gonorrhea, all these things. Sexually transmitted. If people weren't sleeping with each other like this and they were married, it wouldn't be so high. Kids growing up in families with single parents. We saw the statistic. It don't look good. And even if it didn't look good, what kid wants to grow up and don't have their mommy and daddy and got to watch other kids with their mom and their dad? No kid wants to go through that. Always wondering why my daddy's not here. Did he not love me? Why my mommy's not here? They don't love me. All of this could be prevented if we were just obedient to God. That's really what it comes down to. Like, that's my stance. Not everything, because some circumstances, happen. You get raped, you just make a mistake, whatever. But the majority of this stuff, I feel if we could just focus on what's really important, and we don't just give it all away, just lay it down with no thought of tomorrow, a lot of this stuff could be prevented. I put myself through so much hardship I didn't need to be put through. Now, do I regret it? No, because they're my babies and I love them. and I had to grow up fast, and they did help me stay focused. But not every kid responds that way. Me having my kids made me realize I can't be in the streets. I can't be smoking and drinking. It made me realize I had to stay focused. I had to do something with my life. That's what made me realize, my kids helped me realize, not every parent, that's the response. That's not how every parent responds. So, we got to really think about this before we're willing to lay down, spread our legs, and we're out here just doing whatever. And then we want to blame the men and say, well, the man left me. Well, look at me. Okay, the first one left you, fine. The second one, too? What are you doing? So you're not going to take no accountability. So I'm not going to take no. I have to look at myself. I couldn't keep saying, the man ain't just, they just dogs. I have to look at me. What am I doing? Me. That is attracting this type of people. You ever met a woman that always getting beat up by her boyfriend? Like, you meet this guy, he beat up. Then he get a little older, meet another guy beat up. Like, why all the guys that beat women keep dating you? What are you doing?
Yeah,
what are you attracting?
What are you doing?
What do you think of that?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So
what do I think about that?
But what's your thoughts on that? I know it was a mouthful, girl.
I know it was.
It was a mouthful.
I know.
Well,
yeah, I don't know what else to add after that, though.
Nah, you're good. You're good. I just thought that if we could just start with that, and it is a lot of it. I have daughters that say, because I do look Hispanic because I'm mixed. My mother's white, my dad's black, so I came out looking Puerto Rican. My husband Haitian, so most of my kids, they just look like, people just think they Black American kids, whatever. So they don't have hair like me. They don't have my complexion. Some of my features they may not even have. And they'll look at me as the standard of beauty. Like, Mommy, I wish my hair was like yours, because mine's not pretty, but yours is. And then they're looking on TV, and they're looking at their dolls and stuff, and they're like, see, her hair is straight, so her hair is pretty. I had my daughter say these things to me at young ages, and I didn't understand the importance of what my husband used to say. You need to buy more, black dolls. You need to buy more. And I used to be like, it doesn't matter. It's a baby doll. It wasn't until my child came to me and said, Mommy, can you make my hair straight, because my hair is not pretty like this. I want my hair like pointed at the doll and pointed at my hair. And said, it was that what made me realize, oh, my goodness, my husband was right. I didn't realize it. I really didn't. So that self-love is not present in our, especially in the Black community with our young girls. It really isn't. They can put on the facade all they want, oh, yeah, I'm the baddest. That's what they be saying. But a lot of them, they have a lot of self-hate. A lot of them have a lot of self-hate. They do not love themselves, like, at all. A lot of them. They don't like the way they look. They don't like their hair. It's a lot of young girls out there that's suffering with that. And what do you think happens? Exactly what you see happening. They go out there, they get with these guys because it makes them feel pretty.
It's punished. Yeah, because it's trying to get validation.
Exactly. Validation.
Or get acceptance. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so I hope, with that being said, you have any final words? We'll close it out. Any final words? Anybody have any questions, just our comments? I welcome you guys. If anyone on the floor, y'all just hit *5. If you have any comments, any questions. Do you have any last words you want to say, sis?
No. It was a good introduction. It's my first time in here. I really appreciate the invite. Yeah, we need to work on this these statistics and bring them down. Like, again, you have to be cohesive. You have to be like a village to raise these children. You have to, it's sad, a lot of people don't trust a lot of people around their kids either. So that's another thing. It takes time to build relationships and understanding. We have to be open to meeting different people and trying to have discernment and on these people that you meet. Are they going to be safe around your children as well?
There's so many factors. There's so many layers.
There's a lot of factors involved. There's a lot of stress. involved with it. So,
Yeah.
and it's like you need God in that instance. You really do need a connection with the Father, because you won't know what to do if you don't have that connection as well, spiritually.
Exactly. Thank you so much, sis. Oh, man, you don't know
You're
how
welcome.
much I appreciate you taking your time off tonight. It was last minute, and you showed up and showed out. You stayed on the whole time. You've been here 69 minutes, girl.
Have
So
I?
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, girl. You went in hard for me tonight. I love you.
All
I
right.
appreciate it. I
Okay,
thank
love
you
you
so
too.
much. I hope that you come next week. If you can't, it's all good. I have the recording.
Okay.
I'll send it to you. And if you can share it, it
Okay.
means so much to me. Thank you guys so much.